Well, I guess the last technical issue that we had getting the second camera to go, that went. It looked like things needed to be restarted a couple of times.
Yeah,
Uh,
honestly, I've never seen that, what was going on. I mean, your internet, it was the craziest thing. And we looked at it and like, I don't, it, the only thing we can possibly think of is that like, because it was on the Ethernet, I mean, because your internet's really good. So once it actually connected, it only took, like 30 minutes to upload an entire game's worth of one camera, which is really good. So the only thing we could think of is that because it was on the Ethernet and the ISP was somehow throttling it in some way, but we got it. So
okay.
that's the good news. So
I guess some of the things that we run into um, on the clipping when it does upload and everything is sometimes we get um, a highlight that either the players kind of named in the highlight aren't the players near the ball, or if we miss a highlight, and one of the most common highlights we miss is if the opposing team has the ball who's not chipped, and maybe they drive at a defender or something, and the defender makes a great tackle and knocks the ball away, but doesn't necessarily retain possession. That entire moment kind of gets missed. Or a similar type in the offensive thing, if a player kind of pounces on the ball but quickly distributes it, sometimes they hit a really nice pass or whatever, but it seems like if they're not in possession for a long period of time, they those things kind of get missed. And I think we had asked if there's a way players could make their own clips, and I think the answer was
Well,
no.
yeah, I want to know first off about the, like, before we move on to that, like, do you notice that you're missing a lot of defensive clips? Like, is that something you're working on, or because
well,
I
I
that
don't. I mean, not knowing your team, I don't know what's been missed. You know what I'm saying?
no, no,
So
no,
like,
I'm just saying in general, do you notice that you're missing defensive clips generally? Is that an issue that you're working on with your software?
um,
Because I've seen it a couple times now. So I'm just wondering if that's something that's on your radar before we leave that and talk about tagging it. I just want to know if that's on your radar.
I mean, we're always trying to think of, and I think I may have referenced this before with you. I'm working on a side project with one of the engineers. We're always trying to come up with playlists that will be more useful for our global users, meaning everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and certainly one thing that we've talked about internally is trying to identify. There's a couple different things that we're looking at. Transitions, which is kind of the same idea of what you're talking about. Um, we've also looked at penetrating passes a little bit because we have that information. We just don't know how difficult it would be. Um, in terms of like actual defensive moments, um, it's not something that people have brought to our attention very often,
Mm-hmm.
quite frankly.
Okay.
And I mean, I'll add it to the list of things, that we can work on, myself and the engineer. That isn't to say that it's
So
definitely going to be something we
that
incorporate, but
you
I also
tackle.
don't know exactly everything. Are you talking
Like,
about defensive shape,
if
or are you talking about tackles,
I'm
or are you talking about
tackles, I'm specifically talking about tackles. So do you think you are recording tackles, or would you say you're missing them, or you just haven't really gotten feedback
Yeah,
on
I mean,
either way?
yeah, we do. I mean, certainly it's something that we get. Again, I don't know what specific moments you're referencing, so it's hard to say like, oh,
I mean,
yes, we
because
should have
we
had.
could tell you a couple of them that we've missed from the games that we have already. Like and that I guess is leading to Jim's point next, that we know there's moments that have been missed, and what's the way you work through that? Like, you know,
I mean, if you have
what's the
moments that you've been
process?
that have missed for whatever reason, if it's if it's an actual touch that just didn't get picked up, or maybe it's an off the ball run that just I mean, that's another thing that we've talked about is off the ball runs.
Right,
Like,
sure.
it's not something that we track well. So, then the only way to do that is to download the full game film and then edit it yourself.
Okay. So there's no like kind of feedback loop with you guys through.
You can certainly leave feedback to say, like, on an individual moment, whether it's been too short, too long, not your player. You can leave that kind of feedback, and that data goes directly to the engineers.
Okay.
And is that done via email?
It's right in the web app. So if you click on the notepad at the bottom and then the three little dots at the top, there's a little exclamation point. And you would just click that exclamation point and then tag it for whatever the feedback is you're trying to leave.
The notepad at the bottom?
Of the web app.
All right.
So that's how, if there's an issue with a moment that's clipped, that is how you would like us to give you feedback.
That's the best way to do it. Yeah, because that data goes directly to. So this is. We'll just bring up.
Yeah, could you just show
Moments.
me?
So all you do is you click on the notepad at the bottom.
He's showing it. Yeah.
You go to the three buttons here. You click report, and then.
I missed the notepad. Could you show me the notepad again?
It's just on the bottom of the web player. One second. So you click on the notepad, which is how you navigate between all the moments and technical touch chains anyways. So you click on that and then click on the three buttons and then report and then whatever that is.
Three buttons. And report. Okay.
Correct.
Okay, so that can report any issue that we have with any of the existing clips. But as far as
that's not going to fix it necessarily. That's not going to but that's the best way to pass along the feedback and the data so that it gets to the right place.
Okay, and do you act on them sometimes and adjust it, or is it just literally?
I mean, if it's something we can fix, certainly. If it's I mean, there's bad panning, and then which is a technical issue that maybe the field's been calibrated incorrectly, or the points have been selected, egregiously, or whatever it might be. So those can be fixed, yes. But by and large, once your game's been sent out, there's not necessarily a retroactive way to go back and fix things because it's already gone through the QA process, and that's how it was sent out.
Okay.
And so, like, on that one inquiry I had about a goal where the shot's taken and then the pan goes away from the frame of the goal, it goes back towards the center circle. After that's been processed, there's no way to kind of reprocess it so that
one, did we fix that? I don't remember.
I haven't checked it since.
Okay.
There wasn't a response specifically to that.
I don't remember that one, but with something like that, I would certainly send an email into Q, because that's something that we would definitely want to dig into if it's a major moment missed, for sure.
Okay.
Because I know we ran back some stuff internally as well, because of some feedback with some goal detection stuff.
Right. Now, and okay, so those kinds of situations, rather than use the portal, the notepad, and the three dots, you think that one would be better to go through Q?
I would write an email into Q to see if there's anything that can be done for that one. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But then if go ahead, Jim.
No, I was thinking about a workaround, but so ask your question first.
Well, we don't have to leave. Go ahead. If you have something, go ahead. Because I'm moving on to the missed moments.
So yeah, to the workaround for the missed moments. Is there a way? So you've got your kind of catch-all is like the first half, second half clips. Is there a way where you can share a link that puts you to the timestamp of a given moment, so that if a good tackle or through ball or whatever was missed, the player could email a prospective coach and just say, this link, and just give them the link, and it takes them right to like the second where that occurs in the full game.
Yep. So basically, when you just do this and you click share and then copy URL, that jumps to that time in that particular in that link. So when it sends it to whomever, it would send to that particular timestamp.
And if you wanted to link it to your Trace ID account, could you put that? Then
it has to be anything in your Trace ID has to be within a already captured tactical playlist. So it can be someone else's playlist, it can be any of the tactical playlists, but
it has to be a moment.
It has to be in an already identified tactical playlist, correct? Unfortunately.
And there's nowhere in Trace ID to put like notes about like, so you couldn't have like a text session, a text area where you could put like unclipped clips and just have a couple of URLs that go to a couple of good tags.
No, so what we would recommend in that case is to supplement any sort of email that you send out with like this type of situation where you send the Trace ID to a college coach and then you send a couple of different of supplemental links as well.
Now that URL,
that might be. Go ahead.
Is it changing? I'm just watching your screen.
Well, I'm not doing anything, so.
Just gonna try it on my end. Full game video 2. Move it to the 10th minute. So, and how did you do that share? What did you push?
Yeah, you just click the little share button here and then copy URL.
Share and copy URL.
But you're not looking to capture that kind of information from us as to how many moments we think you're missing and things like that.
Well, that's why we recommend the feedback for sure.
But how do we give the feedback on the missed moments?
So you would go to, you mean like in a situation such as this?
Yeah, like, because I already know there's several times where we would have to do that. So how are you capturing that feedback from us?
Well, it goes into a data pool that's evaluated by our engineers, and so that's how they work on.
How does it get into a data pool that we're missing a moment? That's what I'm trying to get to. How do I do that?
It would be like here. So
but that's the clip, right? That's
correct.
Not
so that's the full game film. So you would click on share, or sorry, you would click on the notepad. You would click on the 3 dots. You click on report, and then say wrong player detected. Panning's bad. For something like that. I didn't touch the ball. Something like that.
No, but I'm saying, okay, it's a tackle that you completely missed. What would I say in that?
I would use. It used to be there.
Because it's not something wrong with the clip. It's that you didn't clip it. That's all I'm trying to say.
I would use wrong player detected.
Okay, and that's going to make it actionable for you guys? Okay.
So I just tried grabbing one of those, the URL, the copy URL, and it just pastes back to the beginning of the full game. Like it doesn't take me to the point on the timeline where it happened.
Okay, that should definitely not be the case because that's not
maybe it's
how it works at all.
Firefox thing. Let me try it in.
I'll look into it on my end, but that's definitely a feature that should
try
be
it.
working.
Try it in Chrome.
I'm going to Chrome now. I'm just gonna move it to like.
I feel like it works much better in Chrome all the time. But
Okay, so I hit the no, not the notepad. I hit the share. Share, copy URL. Then I'm gonna open up a new incognito window, so it shouldn't have any memory of the cached address. And I compare that to where I was. No, it's right back to the beginning of the full game footage.
hmm.
It's not at the 17th minute. And if I'm looking at the URL, just pasting it into Notepad, it's just passing a couple of variables. UTM campaign equals game, UTM sources dialogue share, UTM medium equals copy, but nothing that looks like it points to a timestamp.
Okay. I'm actually talking to one of our engineers right now.
Okay.
He says he's released there was a fix on it, but I just told him it's not working because it's not working for me either. So
Okay.
he'll fix it. But that it will work, and it will work soon. So that would be the supplemental way to do that.
Yeah, because if you had that, you could set up a whole new way to collect user info. You know, if there's stuff that your customers want to see clipped, they could post the time-stamped URL and then a couple of word description of, through ball, intercepting tackle, something like that. Parent fight,
Right.
It's like, who knows what the item
Had
is,
one of
but
those
you
last
can
night.
kind of collect that data.
And there's no free entry to send a note with it, like on your feedback, I guess. It's just you have to pick one of those 5 things.
Correct.
Okay.
Have you all done your Trace ID talk with Tim yet?
No, we were had the best intentions of trying to schedule something this week, but we didn't have our typical division meeting this week to put that on the schedule.
Gotcha.
So I think he's kind of waiting for us to get back to him. We
Yeah, I spoke to him last week and he said he hadn't heard back. So
yeah, he told us he was available evenings this week, and we just had to kind of schedule, see what makes the most sense. But I think having this conversation was pertinent because there's going to be times where players are like, oh, I want to show this tackle or this thing that didn't get clipped, and then now we can at least say, all right, get the timestamp, and then just send that in your cover email or whatever other stuff that you're sharing with the coach. So that
yeah, he'll fix it. He's messaging me right now through our messenger, so he'll fix it.
Cool.
Cool. Any other questions? Will you all play this weekend again?
Yes.
I think we've got more scrimmages this weekend, right?
Yep.
And are you all shutting down for high school, or did the high school season get canceled and subsequent club season pick up?
Yeah, we're waiting. Like the high school's postponed their start, but there's kind of rumors everywhere you turn that it may not happen. So we're kind of sitting in limbo.
Got it.
Right now, I think it's planned to move forward, but it could change at any time. So, and then we will keep going as long as we can,
Right.
Let's see. And so, all right. So that, let me just see what shows up in those categories. I just want to see if I've come across anything that doesn't fit into those buckets. Too short, bad timing, didn't touch the ball, camera panning is bad, bad spotlight placement. What does bad spotlight placement mean?
So our spotlight feature, we actually have it turned off while you're inside of. It's kind of pointless now because of Trace ID, but technically speaking, we have this spotlight feature that automatically identifies the player. But because of Trace ID, it's become almost surplus to requirements. So I don't know if you saw that. So it spotlights the player for you. But like I said, with Trace ID and the simple ability to add your own spotlight, it kind of becomes unnecessary. But by default is turned off. So it's on everyone's playlist to turn on if they'd like. And then I'm not.
And are there any plans?
So if you see these different moments and they have the little cone on it, that means we've spotlighted the player there. So then it does it automatically for you. But like technically speaking, if you wanted to use that moment in your Trace ID, you're gonna add the spotlight yourself anyway. So it's 6 and 1, half a dozen of the other.
Gotcha. And is there any way to zoom, or is that an upcoming feature request? Like in this particular thing where the action's in the far corner, sometimes it's kind of difficult to see, especially if it's a cut like a 1-2 in a tight space there.
Yeah, I mean, no, we're not planning on doing that because we would lose so much resolution once we start to do that. And because we've added the ability to use Trace ID and incorporate your own spotlight, it's definitely once you actually see Trace ID, you'll see that the need to zoom is unnecessary.
Well, we're using it pretty. I mean, I've got.
Oh, you do have some moments already? Okay.
Oh yeah, I've got 6 or 7, and I've moved the cone and I've put the cones over players and stuff. But like if you're, if there's a nice 1-2 in that corner where that guy is, depending on how packing and how tight, sometimes it's hard to see, much. You kind of know it if you watch enough of the game. You can assume, okay, that looks like a 1-2, a little wall pass or something. But it would just be kind of cool, if the cameras get up to, higher res or something like that, that you could kind of zoom into the action on the far side a little bit.
Right.
All right, so I think most of the common feedback things we have covered. Wrong player that we would just put through the automated system. If we've got like a panning that misses something off screen, we send that in through Q. Once the URL, will there be like an announcement when the URL pasting thing down to the timestamp is live again or functional?
They're looking into it right now, so I would imagine.
Okay. We probably want to hold off on scheduling the thing with. I'm sorry, I forget his name.
Tim.
The guy who's going to help us with the Tim. Yeah, until that's running, because I know that question will come up.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'll keep an eye. I'll keep pushing them on it and make sure it gets. It shouldn't take very long because this is the first I've ever heard of it not working. So it's probably just a slight bug and they'll get it fixed. Although, were you all affected by the hurricane? Because I know one of our engineers is up in New Jersey and the hurricane put his power out yesterday. I don't know if he's still out.
Yeah, I had lost power, but it's back on.
It is back on. Okay.
Yeah, but not. I mean, definitely not everyone's is back on yet.
Yeah, there's trees down like everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, we in Florida, it was supposed to hit us, and it was all day sunny on Sunday.
Well, that's not a bad
thing. You guys get more than your fair share.
Yeah, I think we're right.
Yeah.
It's okay to spread it around a bit.
Right.
All right. think what other things have happened that have been a little bit wonky. And there's no issue if a player comes late to a game, like in the second half or something, and needs to get a chip like that. That shouldn't really be any different than
Subbing in.
No, exactly. Just make like I always recommend people leave their tracers on um, during the game. So if anybody's late, they just come in, they grab it. It's not a big deal.
right.
That's when if you're turning it on and off like all the time, that's when a player could potentially grab a tracer that's not powered on.
Gotcha.
So
And there
turn it
was
on
there was
once to begin the game, and then turn it off once after the game.
right.
Right.
And then I just thought of something. There's another couple of clips I saw where I guess they I forget what they called it. They might have called it action in the box, but it was a water break, and maybe there were like four players congregating in the box, but the other 18 were off the field,
Sure.
and that would be something I could pass via the
Yeah, if you want to. Otherwise, you can just skip through it. Because obviously no one's going to use it. So, um,
Oh, here's another pet peeve. Keepers. Like every goal kick they take sometimes comes up twice, and it's like you pull up a game and you'll see like 50 keeper moments, and like 38 of them are goal kicks. Is there any discussions there on kind of tweaking the keeper
yeah, I
technology?
mean, we're constantly working on the goalkeeper situation. So I know right now we're using a lot of our newer technology for the goalkeepers. Um,
Okay.
and so what's happening is, for example, if they make a save, because the save is being detected in a different way than the goal kick. The goal kick is obviously being detected by the tracer, and the save is being
Right.
detected completely by computer vision. So what's happening is it's what's happening is exactly what you're saying. So it's it's capturing a save potentially, and then the goal kick, and then the next moment is the actual goal kick. So I've told them that yes, this is an issue that we need to solve to because it's just redundant, right? So
Right.
it
Exactly.
it it and we get it, and I can tell you that last year all they got was the goal kicks, and that's why they've spent so much time doing
Yeah.
doing the object detection. So the fact that they're getting what they're getting right now is much improved from what they had 12 months ago, or even
Okay.
6 months ago. So that's why that's happening. So you can tell them we're working on getting it removed, but the problem right now is if we don't want to remove too much, and then they lose their save. So right now it's just one
Right.
of those things that they can just skip through if it is redundant.
Right. It's wonderful because like on one clip, I almost wonder if they could work with something like picking up where the lines, like because we've got the keeper goes and retrieves the ball because it goes like way over by the corner flag, and then the clip has him like, you know, casually walk, dribble, bouncing the ball from the corner flag
Right.
back to the six. And I'm just wondering if it picks up the line and you see, all right, the keeper's got the ball, but he's clearly out of the field of play. Man, that might be some way to cut down. But I'm happy to know you guys are working on it.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing that we know about.
Cool. All right. I think that goes through my list. Any cool upcoming releases or beta programs that we can be a part of?
Just the Trace ID. Trace ID is a big
Okay.
one for us. I was on a call yesterday about some other things that might, and I don't actually know what they're going to do with it, but like, because I've actually been pushing a lot for kind of what you're saying in terms of having some ability to add add a custom moment.
Hmm.
So they're starting to think a little bit along those lines. What they don't want it to be is any sort of clipping tool. Um, it's going to be something a little bit different. So that's on our radar, but I don't have any sense for when that is something that would be coming out. I've zero, and they don't tell us on purpose, because then we'll talk about it. And well, they don't tell the sales team on purpose, because then the sales team will sell
Gotcha.
it.
Mhm.
Cool. Any other thoughts there, Madam President?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, excellent. Thanks for joining us, and we're always here Wednesdays and Fridays, so feel
All
free
right,
to,
thanks.
drop in.
Cool.
All right,
I'll let you know
Thanks.
once that copy URL button's fixed.
perfect.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Bye.